Welcome once again to another video about basketball, the NBA basketball. And don't forget to subscribe and to like. This is a short video, just a follow-up to the previous video. Before I thought for sure that the tea leaves were pointing towards LeBron going to the Warriors. I even saw another video today where it talked about PTI, slipped out the secret, saying also that he's going to the Warriors. All right, but I'm going to try to ignore what I thought before and ignore that recent video about a slip of him giving the information, PTI, that show, and also Max Kellerman talking about them going to the Warriors. It's not the first time Max Kellerman kept hinting towards the Warriors. So there was a lot of discussion about that. So I'm going to ignore all of that and look at the things that seem to make the most sense. All right. In the last, time that LeBron James appeared on, a show, at an appearance at an event, the Fanatics. He talked about the East a lot, that there's a lot of talk about the East now. So he made a lot of mention about the East and a lot of focus about the Eastern Conference, of course. Um, that's one thing. The other thing, which I think is even more significant because he keeps talking about what his family wants, is the most important part of his decision. That his decision, is for different reasons, but that's one of the biggest reasons, in terms of what decision he'll make, right? So if anyone paid attention, do you remember when he said that his daughter has a big role in what he decides to do? Um, do you remember that if anyone heard it, if you didn't, you should look for it, where he said that his daughter was talking to him and he was telling her that, he won't be coming home every day like he was before because he'll no longer be playing for the Lakers. So LeBron has us playing detective now, and if anyone was listening, listen very well to what he was saying. That's how we would have to do as detectives. Notice if he told his daughter that he will not be coming home every day like he was before because he won't be playing for the Lakers. What does that mean? That means that he won't be playing for the Clippers either, because otherwise that statement would not have to be made to his daughter because he would still be in LA. It also means that he won't be playing for the Warriors. All right. So for those who seem to have gotten their hopes up for him going to the Warriors, which I thought, then also that wouldn't be very applicable either, because the Warriors are technically still in California. All right, San Francisco, California. So he could commute. His daughter would still see him quite a bit if he was going to the Warriors, right? So we can rule out the Warriors based on that statement to his daughter. This is something that he said to his daughter. Not someone said he said. He said this to his daughter. So you can rule out the Clippers, you can rule out the Warriors, and he already blatantly ruled out the Lakers. So that means what? That means he's going to the East. All right. So now, if we put, because we won't assume that he's going to any other place, in terms of the West, he won't be going to the Spurs, right? He won't be going to the Thunder, right? And those are the other two wise basketball moves if he wants to get a championship, right? But we both, I think all of us can agree he's not going to the Spurs or the Thunder. All right. If so, that would be a surprise, a big surprise. But based on what he's saying, he'll be out of the area. He'll be out of California based on what he said to his daughter. So if that is the case, it could be the Spurs or it could be the Thunder, right? Those would make the most sense if someone was chasing a championship. All right, now let's go with the more likely. More likely, he'll be going to the East, and that's why he said that to his daughter. But now we have to figure out, well, which team would he be going to in the East? Well, we can rule out the Heat because they haven't shown that they have the potential to win in these past few years. Even adding Giannis, that won't make a big difference. Adding LeBron, he's too old to make a big difference. He will be part of a team, a winning team. He wouldn't be the one causing a team to win unless they were already close and he just pushes them over the top by his experience and his talent. All right, so forget the Heat. Forget the Heat. All right, so where are we down to? We're down to the Cavs or the 76ers. Those are the two teams, and he would never go to Boston, so forget that. All right, so we're down to the 76ers and the Cavs to figure out which team he's going to. So he seems genuinely torn between the two because he doesn't want to upset the Cavs fans again because they want him back, right? So to not go there, they will be upset with him, right? So him going back to Cleveland is just for him to feel the vibes, to see if they still love him, to see if he's still accepted, right? Not because he's going back to the Cavs, because people were talking about like Windhurst, talking about the vibes. The vibe seems like he's going to the Cavs. No, no, he went back to check the vibes, not because he's going back to Cleveland. All right, and there are a few things that kind of might prevent him from going to Cleveland as well, because people were constantly talking about this is Donovan Mitchell's team, this is Donovan Mitchell's team, Spider's team. All right, so that doesn't set well with LeBron, to go join a team and people are talking about that's someone else's team, that's Donovan Mitchell's team. Even though I think Donovan Mitchell would be very open to LeBron mentoring him and to learn from him. But everyone talking about is Donovan Mitchell's team, that doesn't set well with LeBron, I'm quite sure. And of course, Harden being there, I don't think is an attraction to LeBron. So there are some problems with going to the Cavs. All right. So now we're down to the Sixers, and the Sixers seem to have everything in place for him to go there. They created a very, winning team. All right. He loves Maxey, as that was mentioned over and over and over. And you can see that, he even got pitched to come to the 76ers on the team, I mean, on the show that Rich Paul runs. So, and Rich Paul kept mentioning, he loves Maxey, and so forth as a person. And LeBron mentioned it as well. So, and he put an asterisk up there. So everything really is more pointing towards the 76ers. But what's delaying him from saying he's concerned about becoming a bad guy again? He's concerned about being hated again by the Cavs because he didn't choose them, because he didn't go there. You see, so he's trying to kiss and make up with them, make sure everything is good with them before he goes to make that 76er move. That's what it obviously seems like, because if it was the Cavs, it would be a quick and easy decision to make. No delay is necessary. But the delay is because he's torn between the 76ers and the Cavs, and he doesn't want to upset the Cavs fans. He wants to make sure everything is good with them before he makes that decision. All right. Even on the show that on the Fanatics, he even said, I hope you'll support me wherever I go. So if he was going to the Cavs, he wouldn't need to say that either. So obviously, he's going to the East based on what he said to his daughter. And it seems obvious that he's going to the 76ers because not only the professional baseball players were telling him to come there, and also Jaylen Brown telling him to come there. So everything, all the pressure and his love of Maxey, all of those are pushing him towards going to the 76ers. Only thing that worries me about the 76ers is, Joel Embiid's health. So if he's not there, where's their big center backup? I'm concerned about the center that would have to go up against the big centers of the East and of the West, but more importantly of the East to make it out of the East. You know, Cat, he's going to have to deal with that center is going to have to deal with him, and you have other centers as well. So the Cavs have two good centers. So that's an attraction for the Cavs. But the 76ers will probably just, do whatever they need to do to seal up the center spot after they get LeBron James. But that's my concern about the 76ers, the center spot, because if Joel Embiid is sick, injured, whatever, there's no strong backup or guarantee to keep that center spot strong, which is very important going up against Wemby, going against even the Thunder got some big guys in on their team. So that's my concern about joining the 76ers, the center position. But other than that, everything seems to be pointing towards the Sixers. So we'll see. But obviously, based on what he said to his daughter, and that's a very significant point, he won't be home, and he's telling her that. So it won't be the Warriors, it won't be the Clippers, and it's definitely not the Lakers that puts him in the East or at the Thunder or the Spurs, which I doubt. So we're talking about the 76ers is most likely his landing spot. All right, have a good day. Don't forget to subscribe and to like.